And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
I want to break free. I want to break free. I want to break free from your lies. You're so self-satisfied. I don't need you. I've got to break free. God knows.
Yeah, everybody knows I just want to break free. And one of the people that can help me do that, Simon Black, he's out there demonstrating how you can break free. And a lot of times, you don't even have to break because it's legal to, well, this week. You know, Simon, I mean, how hard is this?
It's not. I mean, that's the thing about it. There's these really weird misconceptions about doing anything internationally as somehow shady, cloak and dagger illegal, and nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, it's perfectly normal and legitimate for people to have, a bank account overseas, to own property overseas, to have another passport. All these things are completely and 100% legal.
Well, what would trigger your participation in the no-fly list? I mean, how is it that what are they looking for? Some people that have some resources or have on the watch list, we want your goodies. I would think they have a little bit more difficult moving their money. How do you suggest they do it? Can they just open up an account in Panama and ship all their money there?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily suggest a place like Panama. There's a lot better banking systems out there. I was talking about Singapore earlier. Singapore's never had a banking failure in its history, ever.
No, I'm not talking about them losing my money. I'm talking about the United States letting me take my money.
Yeah, I mean, there's places where Cook Islands is a great example of a jurisdiction where, anybody that, and when I say anybody, I'm talking about creditors and even foreign governments that want to lay a claim to your assets have to actually go and battle it out, in the local court system instead of just being able to punch a few keys on their keyboard. And that's what they can do in the United States. In the U.S. here, there's any number of agencies, even at the state level, where they can just, click a few keys on their keyboard and freeze you out of your accounts and seize your assets and things like that.
Precious metals has to come into the discussion here. I mean, if I can find a place on the tip of the mountain in Chile and I got a nice little ravine, I dug a cave in the middle of the whatever, and it's guarded by some pack of wolves, I'm probably better off. So I'm just, a lot of the people that support what you're doing, they have to be thinking that they're getting it out of any system, don't they?
Yeah, we talk about a lot of those types of things too. I mean, my take on precious metals is it's sort of the anti-currency. There's nothing. Every one of these currencies, you can talk about the Australian dollar, or the Swiss franc, or any of these that are certainly stronger, and they are, being that they're being debased, I guess, at a less rapid rate. I mean, at the end of the day, all these are really going to zero, I think, and precious metals are really the only thing that can absorb that kind of value. Now, there's places that we talk about where there's private, not banks, that are private facilities that are outside of any banking system, so they're not subject to banking regulation, that have, anonymous, vault deposit facilities where you can take physical gold and, put them in a Swiss vault in Switzerland or, in a place like Singapore or
again,
Uruguay,
this week.
Places. Yeah.
I mean, this keeps changing, and we have pressure from the U.S. having them turning over information and account holders, and then it's just, if it's in a bank, let me tell you what, if it's not under my mattress, I'm worried, okay?
Yeah,
so
I understand.
So there's a lot of people that are interested in what you have to say, and I remember a few weeks ago we had some articles that were talking about a gathering you had in Panama. So now you got to meet a lot of these people face to face. I'm interested in what were they looking for?
Well, again, they're looking for options. Everybody has something. I think everybody has a path, or they had an awakening experience one day. Maybe it was having their account seized or getting a huge tax bill from the IRS, or maybe it was watching their daughter get fondled by a government agent at airport security. Everybody has some kind of awakening that they go through, and as soon as they do, they start looking for options. And we had a conference in Panama last month where I brought, my personal contact list of experts from people came from as far as New Zealand and Singapore and the Philippines and all kinds of countries to talk about what their particular country has to offer, whether it's a residency program and the legal, legitimate ways to apply for residency in this country, or a passport, or to open a bank account in these places. We had tax advisors and attorneys who would tell you these are the forms that you need to file to make sure that you're compliant and legal and everything like that. So it was people that were just looking for answers. Everybody has a specific case. Some people need to move some money overseas. Some people are looking for a place to actually move to, pick up roots and head offshore. Some people looking for a passport. Everybody's got something that they need. And there's each one of these things is a tool. It's something that provides some additional freedom, some kind of options. And those are all the different sort of tools and options that we like to review and talk about every day on our site.
Well, this is one thing that I think that they need is a lot of times they just need to socialize with people that think as they do or have come to the same realization. And once they meet, they actually come face to face, they go, hey, well, that guy's not so bad, and that one's all right. I could probably do without that guy, so on. They build relationships, and then they're all going, hey, man, we can do this together. We'll leave the collective and we'll go found our own collective. I mean, so I'm just wondering, has that come up to where they're going? The solution may be in their minds to go and pool resources and be somewhere else, but does that bring with it the same problems like an HOA would or something? Or what kind of thought process have they gone for that kind of thing? Have you experienced that?
Yeah, well, we talked about that at length, actually. One of the things that we have on our site is an online community so that people can actually sort of meet each other, at least in the digital sense, and build relationships and take those relationships offline. So there's a lot of meetups and things like that. Because you're right. I mean, people want to meet other people that think the way that they do, that see the world in the same way that they do. And sometimes you can feel kind of lonely when you're trapped with all of these thoughts about the dangers of huge governments and these types of things, and we like to facilitate those kinds of meetings with other people.
You're a person that can answer this question that I want to know. Is there a safety in numbers, or is it safer to be not part of a herd, to be more of this lone wolf out there, maybe loose ties, peer-to-peer, internet kind of, because you would be the person to answer that. You're looking, as this evolves, as we get to a point to where anywhere but here mentality, do we go together somewhere, or are we better off just kind of being international citizens or residents or travelers of the planet or off planet even? Tell me where you think in your mind, as you see this going, is it a good idea to start collectivizing good people, or does that just turn it into another collective? Are there antidotes to that, to be able to hold off it turning bad? I mean, in the last few minutes here, I'd really like to address that, because I know a lot of people approach me over the last years. Oh, Ernie, we need to all go up here and we'll be, and so on. I'm going, you're just ready for more problems. It needs to be well-defined fences,
Yeah, listen, I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm a strong believer in networks, in building strong relationships with like-minded people. And when you talk about, collective, the herd mentality, I agree with you that a lot of obviously the problems that we have, particularly, in the U.S. are derived from this, mentality that there's a lot of people that think in a certain way that, that the government should be taking care of them, that they should be reaching into everybody else's pockets to support them. And those aren't the kind of people that I want to be around. And there are certain people that do kind of see the world in the same way. And I think building relationships with those people is an advantage, is an asset, not a liability. It's not a disadvantage, because, you can't, I don't think you can go through the world by yourself and expect to, be able to thrive and succeed and prosper. And, I think the issue is, instead of building another collective where, anybody and everybody just, comes on board, I think it's, defining groups where people can self-select, not based on accidents of birth, like, I just happen to be born in this state or this city or this country, and so I have to fit in with everybody else around me. They can self-select the people that see the world in the same way that they do, build strong relationships and networks with those people that see the world.
There's a litmus test for freedom lovers. And you know what the first question is? That they love freedom.
Absolutely.
And advocate for it. Simon Black, sovereignman.com. Simon, thanks very much for extending your time with us. I appreciate it.
Appreciate the invitation. Thanks.